listening to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro, the place to learn about new technology and technological advances before they become mainstream. This podcast is sponsored by Ingram Micro's President's Club, where winners are made. All right, let's get into the show.
Welcome back to B2B Tech Talk. Today we are at Ingram Micro's U.S. Sales Kickoff in Buffalo, New York. My name is James Carbary. I'm one of the producers of the show, and I'm joined today by Susan O'Sullivan, Ingram's Vice President of U.S. Sales. Susan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Nice to see you.
I'm really excited to chat with you. So, Susan, you opened up your session this morning wearing all leather, and you did that to reinforce an Ingram theme. Can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. So it's all about being comfortable, being uncomfortable. And I know you don't really know me, but I'm a little more buttoned up. I mean, quite honest, I've been in the industry a long time, and I started in sales. You wore dresses and heels and suits, and I still do. Like tomorrow when I'm back on stage, I'll be in the suit and heels and pearls, and I'll be much more comfortable. But, with that whole rock and roll theme and, the great beginning that we had, it just made sense to kind of come out as a rock and roller, even though that's not my persona. But I really did want to reinforce, it's always about, making sure you walk the talk. And I can't say I'm going to be comfortable being uncomfortable if I'm not showing it. And I couldn't come up with a better way to show that I was being true and uncomfortable than being in leather pants.
I love that. I think that's
hashtag have the courage to wear leather. Yeah.
I think that's an incredible display of leadership for you being willing to do that in front of so many people. Yeah. So I love that.
Out of the comfort zone.
Susan, you were a contributor to Lisa Magnuson's newest book, The Top Sales Leader Playbook, How to Win 5X Deals Repeatedly. Talk to us about what your contribution to Lisa's book was.
It's really been, as I said, I've been in sales a very long time. And for me, it's always about truly understanding your customer, getting to know them, asking the right questions. And again, it's almost when you talk about being uncomfortable, you have to really be ask difficult questions, but you also have to be passionate about their business. And something that I'm going to be talking about actually on Friday is understanding that there's an art to this. It's not just the numbers, right? The numbers happen because there's an art to it, first of all, and you have to be truly passionate about their success. You have to be truly caring about their business. The first question I always ask is, why did you start your business? I think that can give you so much information about their business, and then really where do they want to go with that business? And then those questions and the solutions, that comes later, but it's truly about understanding what they want to fix, accomplish, avoid, and where they came from, and then where they want to go.
That's incredible. One of the, speaking of asking the right questions, you've obviously got a large sales team that reports up to you and the leaders on your team. When it comes to a sales rep's success, coaching is obviously a critical factor.
Absolutely.
What advice do you have for sales leaders as it relates to coaching their reps?
I would truly believe, so we've got a couple different things. Like from an inside sales rep, I think you have to really listen and then do it. You've got to embed yourself in their world, so to speak. When you're in the field, making sure you're going out with those field calls, and then being able to give them true and honest feedback. I mean, it's super simple to say, great job, and walk away and go on to your next customer or your next call, but to really take the time to say, what did you think went well? And then, what do you think you could have done better? So then they start getting involved with you, and then truly giving them the real feedback. And maybe it was a fantastic call. There's always something you could do a little bit different. I've never walked out of a sales call and went, I nailed that 100%. There's always one thing I could have done better. And maybe that's just me being super critical of myself or my people, but there's always something you can tweak, do better, a different question, different way to ask that question. And so I think it's being honest and then understanding their business too and the challenges that they're facing, and hopefully you can help them overcome those challenges.
I love that. Something that you just said that I think is really powerful is you're not just leading with giving the critical feedback, but you're asking them, hey, where do you think you could have gotten better there? And then it's more of a collaboration.
Absolutely.
It's not just you kind of from on high.
Oh, yeah.
This
Pontificating.
is the way it has to be.
Yeah.
It's really working with them because ultimately it's for their career. It's for the best interest
It's their
of them.
business,
Yeah.
really. I mean, if I like to think it's run your own business. We used to say be the CEO of your own business. It truly is that. I
Yeah.
mean, if they're running their own territories, and they have to be as invested in their career as I am. Otherwise, and I think it's also, if people aren't invested in their career, it's also having that conversation and having a very difficult conversation of, do you really want to be here?
Yeah.
Because you're not showing me signs that you do. And I think it's critical that they're investing. That's what this whole conference is about. What are they investing in themselves? I mean, this is 3 days out of their work, out of their business, making sure they're coming out with something that they're going to use for the next, 9 months, 12 months. It's already middle of January, so the next 11 months. It's critical.
Yeah.
Real quick, before we jump straight back into the episode today, we want to tell you about Ingram Micro Financial Solutions and how you can maximize your buying power and get to yes with your customers faster. For the last 9 years, Ingram Micro has been Channel Pro's reader's choice for best financing options. Put the power of our credit and leasing options to work for you. You can easily contact Financial Solutions at ingrammicro.com. All right, let's get back to the show.
Susan, this is something I've been excited to chat with you about. So I was reading leading into this interview, and according to a report from CEB, the sales industry has the second biggest gender equity gap. It says that only 19% of women in sales are in leadership positions. So what do you think the business community can do to move the needle in the right direction in that area?
Yeah, it is something that I'm very passionate about. I think Ingram is very much involved in women's organizations. We have our own women's small groups. We're here on the East Coast, and we're definitely stretching out into the West Coast with that. But I think you have to give people the opportunity. And a lot of times I ask the questions, why aren't you? As a leader, whether you're a female leader or a male leader, I think you've got to ask those, people that really truly have the talent, why aren't you going for that role? And again, I know the statistics are there saying most times women will not go for a role because they just don't feel they have all the everything checked off the box, or all the boxes checked, so to speak. And sometimes it's just pushing them out of their comfort zone, saying, you can do this. Asking them, again, it's all about asking, why do you think you can't do this?
Yep.
And if you can, probably half of them are just, I don't think I can, I'm not quite there yet. There could be other issues, but I think especially now as the workforce is getting a little bit more flexible, and frankly, the millennials are forcing it, and I think it's wonderful that they are.
Yeah.
I think it's just making sure we maybe have to twist a little bit to make it work in some of their lives, but we need to do it, because if we're 50% of the population and only 19% of the leadership team, business is missing out. And you know this, Dad. Like, if you have women more women on the boards, you're a 50-50. That board is always more profitable. So if you're not putting women in leadership positions, you're missing out.
Yeah.
It
And
truly
I think it's easy as employers to say, oh well, they're not pursuing it, so it's on them. But I was talking to Lori Richardson from a group called Women Sales Pros, and she was telling me that there are little things like being thoughtful about how you write your job descriptions.
Yep.
Because what you alluded to earlier, a woman will read a job description, and if they don't meet 100% of the criteria laid out in the description, they just won't apply at all. Where a man will see, I mean 60% of that, I'll throw my name in the hat.
Absolutely.
And so little things like just thinking more thoughtfully about how you write the job description, so it's not intimidating to half of the population.
It's half the population.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So I want to transition over, Susan, into the Fast Five portion of this interview. So I'm going to ask you 5 questions. Really excited to hear your thoughts on these.
Okay.
The first one, what does one Ingram mean to you?
It means going out to our customers as a united force, whether you're selling Cisco, Juniper, security, doesn't matter, that you bring everybody together and you're giving that one message. And it's not that it's my customer, it's our customers. And I think that it's really going to start breaking the silo. I mean, every company has silos, and I think the one approach really tries to level those silos.
What is coming up in 2020 with Ingram that you're really excited about?
Oh my God. Well, I'd say in many cases it's technology. Really understanding. There's 2 things. It's the technology, and it's also what we're doing with our customer sets. And really, we spent the last 2 years doing a lot of work in customer segmentation, a lot of work with our customer genome, which is making sure that the data is pointing us to the right questions. It's getting deeper involved with our customers to give them better solution sets, or helping them understand where they need to be going, frankly. You know what? What you're buying today, it doesn't make sense because you're missing this one piece. Why aren't you doing that? And so really having a little bit more prescriptive conversations with our customers, I'm very excited about that. And again, just that the deeper understanding of the customers, we get more and more embedded in asking more difficult questions and just more, again, you're looking at what you talked with Janet Shines talked about this morning, 40% of the population of the B2B are going to be retiring. So these millennials are coming up, and we need to make sure that we're having conversations all along the organization, not just with the purchaser, not just with the CEO, but we're talking to the salespeople, we're talking to the new ones because, and again, in different formats too. It's not just on the phone or in person. We're looking at, the other thing I'm really excited about is doing a lot more work with video. We're doing a lot of video quick snippets, sending them out to customers in a different way because again, not everybody wants a phone call, not everyone's going to open it up. Looking at social media a little bit more, a little differently, and again, we were talking to Janet about that. Just a different way to connect with our customers. I'm very excited about that.
Love it. What is new and exciting in tech this year?
I know we've heard of 5G, 6. The whole thing, it's going to be like literally think about all of these locations that are today don't have any coverage. And when you start talking about IoT and all those sensors, well, it was great. You can have all these sensors, but if you didn't have connection, it didn't really matter because nothing was going to happen. So I think it really does sort of level the playing field for everybody, and I think we can start having those solutions conversations in areas that we couldn't have them before.
What were some accomplishments in 2019 that you and your team are really proud of?
We had a phenomenal year. I have from SMB all the way into the NSP, and I think it was truly working together. We collaborated a lot more this year, and we looked at solution sets a lot more. I think we did a great job of training our people on making sure we were better. Like we go through the practice and the performance zone, and so many times, we go just talking to customers, and we don't do our research beforehand, and we don't practice. And so I spent a lot of time talking to my people and having them, perfect pitches and send them in, and we reviewed them, and we had fun with them. But getting them comfortable, getting my salespeople comfortable with what we're selling and being able to practice it, and so they can get it out to the customers in the right way.
All right, Susan, I'll close with this question. It's about a topic that I think you and I are both really passionate about. What can channel partners do to create an incredible customer experience?
I think at the beginning, what I said, it's caring. It's truly having the passion to understand their business, and to look at every customer uniquely, right? And I'd say, we have in my organization 25,000 accounts. That's a ton of accounts, and understanding that not everybody wants the same experience, and so I think it's going to be understanding what experience they really need, what experience they want, and then somehow marrying it together. Because we can't give everybody a Nordstrom experience, but not everybody wants a Nordstrom experience. But I want to make sure the ones that need it or want it are going to get it. And then making sure that if somebody wants a video from me, I'll get that to them with a quick follow-up or an email afterwards. But not everybody connects the same way, and I think we just need to make sure that we're connecting with our customers in the way they want to be connected to and giving them the right information.
Susan, this has been incredible. I really appreciate your time.
So my pleasure. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
You've been listening to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro. This episode is sponsored by Ingram Micro's President's Club. B2B Tech Talk is a joint production by Sweetfish Media and Ingram Micro. Ingram Micro production handled by Laura Burton and Christine Fan. To make sure you never miss an episode, subscribe today in your favorite podcast player.